I have none.
I want to declare a possible conflict of interest in regards to item 2, where the town planners who are managing that project, I'm also involved in another matter with them, but it is a different town planner within the firm.
Thank you.
No one can hear anything I'm saying. I haven't got my mic on. Sorry. Ben Cosgrove, you're there. You ready to speak? You're the first speaker on this item. So if you could address, you've got 3 minutes, and if you could just wrap up once you hear the buzzer go. Great. When you're ready. Thank you.
No problem. Just want to confirm, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Thank you. Cool. Thank you, Chair. Ladies and gentlemen of the panel, I just wanted to extend my gratitude for this opportunity to address you today. I express my thanks to the council members, Ms. Rossi, Mr. Wilmot, and Mr. Magistral for their diligent efforts concerning the matter at hand. Firstly, my parents are the current owners of the property located at 22 Jensen Avenue, Vaucluse, and they've lived there for 3 decades, and that's where I also currently reside. The property stands adjacent to 20 Jensen Avenue, and having lived there for nearly 28 years, I think I possess quite an intimate understanding of the intricacies of the property, and I also practice in property law, so I do have a good understanding of these certain things. And I was hoping you'd allow me to highlight 2 critical issues that I believe warrant your attention in reviewing the recommendations outlined in the WLPP report. The report aptly acknowledges the extensive history of development applications concerning 20 Jensen Avenue. And throughout this process, throughout the previous DAs, our foremost concern, which I think has been shared by many of those individuals who submitted unique submissions made to council, has always revolved around preserving the structural integrity of our residence at 22 Jensen Avenue, which shares the same roof structure and a common wall with 20 Jensen Avenue, Vaucluse. A demolition methodology report that was dated 19th of April was submitted by the applicant on the 9th of November of this year, and that outlines a construction methodology for the proposed works, including some really vague suggestions as to how the applicant will actually maintain the structural integrity of my parents' home in 22 Jensen Avenue, Vaucluse. And I think it's really crucial to note that the exact same demolition methodology report was previously submitted for the last DA concerning 20 Jensen Avenue, which was actually rejected. And that same demolition methodology report was extensively critiqued in the previous WLPP report by Waverley Council. Specifically, and I want to quote the Waverley Council, is that council considers the applicant's submitted demolition methodology report does not adequately address the concerns of the common wall and roof with number 22 Jensen Avenue. Therefore, there's a degree of doubt on the constructability of the proposal, which should be a reason to refuse consent to the DA. In the current WLPP assessment report, council endorses that same demolition methodology report, and myself and my parents next door are quite confused as to how this position has changed, and we quite frankly don't actually agree with the council's conclusion in this instance that the report contains sufficient evidence to support the proposed demolition and construction next door. The report concludes that the proposed works may result in minor displacement cracks in the demolition report concludes that proposed works may result in minor displacement cracks in the existing ceiling, wall, and floor claddings. And we hold reservations concerning the credibility and comprehensiveness of that suggested construction methodology. My second submission is short and simple. It just relates to the overlooking and overshadowing. Our home has already been very much hindered by a massive development across Jensen Avenue and Clark Street, but there is one development that's currently underway behind our home on Clark Street, and we believe that the development next door at 20 Jensen Avenue will just further hinder our privacy concerns, and as a result of the development. And our view is that it will just be most unsympathetic if the development was approved. Again, our prudence is that would dictate the rejecting the DA in light of these concerns. And I just want to again thank you for letting me have the panel, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Ben. The panel, do we have questions for Ben? Gabrielle?
I just have one. It's more a comment than a question. Perhaps in terms of your concern around overshadowing, are you aware of the fact that your dwelling number 22 is actually to the north of the subject site? Therefore, it really won't or shouldn't have any overshadowing impact to you, if that reassures you around that issue.
I appreciate. Can I respond?
Thank you.
Cool. I definitely appreciate the comment. I'm just speaking purely from experience. I recognise that point, but having the certain developments around our house are currently underway, and we've actually already lost a significant amount of light during the day. So, but I do recognise your point. I appreciate that.
Okay, thank you, Ben. No further questions. We'll now go to the speaker on behalf of the applicant, Sulman Burkic. Thank you. When you're ready.
Thank you. Good afternoon, respected chair and panel members. My name is Sulman Burkic. I'm the operations manager and drafting manager of Windcrest Group. I am here to say that we're pleased that with council's recommendation for approval, and we accept in full all conditions in their report, and here for any questions.
Thank you. I think there may be a few questions. Gabrielle?
Thank you. I have a couple of questions. One's related to what we heard a moment ago from Ben. How are you intending to structurally support the party wall or the new framework that's on the party wall condition? Are you using the party wall for bearing, or are you doing it separately?
No, so sorry. The existing party wall is not being proposed to be demolished or touched in any way. We will be constructing a new wall next to that wall. So the existing party wall will not be touched.
Okay, I then have a second question. In relation to the positioning of the upper floor extension that you're proposing, you're impacting the ridge line of the dwelling. or the semi-detached dwelling, which is not what's sought by the actual controls themselves, which seeks to have any extensions sit behind the existing ridgeline. I wanted to know whether or not you'd looked at an option that relocated bed 1 over the top of the al fresco area that is underneath, and thereby you could have avoided the outcome of intrusion into the roof fall.
We had this discussion with council in regards to the ridgeline, and we have actually amended the plans so that, and council have accepted our amendments. Pushing the house itself is quite a small house. So by pushing the house back to the rear, then we would have lost a room, which would be very inconvenient to the clients. So we came up with this design in conjunction with the council assessor.
I have to say, I disagree with you. I actually think you could build over the al fresco and retain bed 2, bed 3 quite easily, and the stairs would stay in the current position, and it would have the opportunity to retain the existing roof line without that degree of intrusion, given the degree of exposure that this site has because it's on a corner.
The issue also with that was in regards to the rear setback.
There are other developments, though, from what I can see in the street and the aerial, that actually have a similar alignment to that for the second floor. Anyway, thank you.
No, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Heather?
Yes, thank you. You're keeping the front wall of the existing semi, the one that faces onto the Jensen Avenue. Is there any reason why you can't keep the window, at least the fenestration, the windows as is? I noticed the windows have got like a little, a nice detail where they come up in a peak, the horizontal window, and you're replacing it with a new window, and then the sliding doors. Is there any reason why you can't keep the existing?
The window that we're proposing in the on the ground floor in the lounge room is the existing window. It's the one with the arch above it.
That's not a new window. That's
No.
existing, is it?
No,
And right, thank you. And although it's not drawn as it is exactly appears on the building. It's got like a peak on the arch. It's not a round. It doesn't have a round profile.
it might be just as the print itself is, but on our drawings, it's an arched window.
And the second window that now is being made into WSSD1.
Yes.
And that needs to be a different type of window, although I know there's a condition proposed by council in relation to that window, or maybe it's one on the other side.
It's the other side.
Right.
Yeah. So the condition states that the window next to the sliding door is to the top of the window is to be aligned with the top of the sliding doors.
And the visible side of the building, which I presume is the northern side, on your drawings, I noticed council's proposing a condition that it be treated the same as the rest of the building. How was that going to be treated?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that question.
So how are you treating the blank side of the building where it adjoins the neighbour?
It's that side. It's a Heber wall, acrylic rendered finish.
Right, the same as the rest of the building will be rendered.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
This Jeffrey Denman now has got some questions for you, Suleiman.
Just in relation to Mr. Cosgrove's concern about the party wall, in these semis, they're very often old walls. The lime mortar is usually deteriorated. So there's a moment when the wall from the supporting wall from 24 will come down, and there'll be presumably nothing there for some time, or even a little time. How's it proposed to support the wall at 22 when you're bringing the party wall for 24 down?
As I said before, we are not proposing to take down the party wall of number 24. We're leaving the party wall as they are. There will be a new construction against the existing wall.
Okay, and are you going to support the walls during construction internally in 24?
Absolutely, they'll be propped up as per the engineers.
Okay. This may be going over territory that's already been covered, but I'm interested in you telling us how you could retain the existing ridge line for the side of 24 that would match 22 so that it would look from the front a continuing ridge line. How could you possibly do that if council required that?
Well, it's something that we would have to look in regards to redesigning that. But when we had this conversation with council, and taking in consideration the other developments in the street, especially up the road, it wasn't deemed to be necessary at that time. So what they've said is that if we can jut the back so that we have 50% going back towards the ridge line, which council accepted.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Nothing further. I see the owner, Michaela, you're there. Did you want to, or did anyone else want to speak? I know that you were speaking on behalf, but there was other people there. Does anyone else want to say anything before we move on to the next item? No? Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. No.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Michaela. All right. We'll move on now to item number 2 on the agenda. Item number 2 is 42 Varna Street, Waverley. It's alteration and additions to semi-detached dwelling, including addition of a basement level. The submissions received have been provided and there's no one speaking on behalf of the objector. We have David Waghorn speaking on behalf of the owners. David, did you want to present?
Sorry, Madam Chair, thank you. Look, I don't have anything really to present. We agree with the assessment report. We were just going to thank staff and answer any questions if there was any.
Panel, do we have any questions? Yep, Gabrielle has some questions.
I have one question. It's in relation to the basement and the rumpus space. I noticed that it's got windows, but they're not openable for ventilation. How are you intending to ventilate that area?
That is a good question. Because of the open plan design, it was just going to be, I suppose, borrowed ventilation from upstairs.
Okay, that won't work from an airflow point of view. Have you considered the installation of trickle ventilators in the windows?
I haven't considered them. It's something that the architect or you would like to condition, but yes, we certainly could incorporate something like that into the proposal.
Because that wouldn't impact you in terms of security, but at least you get fresh air. Thank you.
Understood.
Heather, you got a question?
I had the same question, but also in relation to the other rooms, maybe not the storage, but the laundry where you might have a dryer, for instance, and also the gym, which may or may not be a habitable room under the BCA, but how are they going to be ventilated?
I think typically with a laundry, you'd need an extraction fan and that can be extended to the gym as well. Or we could just do ventilation through the entire lower level.
Sorry, would that be the trickle ventilation that Gabrielle was referring to?
Yes. Yeah.
Mechanical. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Jeff, did you have anything?
Just one question, just in relation to the deck at the back, that's sort of right next to the building behind. Has there been any consideration of what can be done to muffle noise coming from that area?
That back deck was subject to a previous approval. It's not actually part of this application.
Mm-hmm. What improvements were made to muffle noise coming from that area?
Well, this was subject to an agreement with through the Land and Environment Court. From the original DA, it was the deck area was reduced in size. The planters were incorporated around the edge, and that was found to satisfy council's concern in relation to noise.
Yeah, thanks.
And I'd just like to confirm that Gabriel Morash had a conflict, but just dealt with it by noting the potential conflict, but decided to sit in any event. Thank you. All right, so nothing further. So we'll move now on to 3 Miramar Street.
Thank you, panel.
Well, thank you very much for coming, David. 3 Miramar Street, Bronte, DA 158-2023, demolition and construction of a new dwelling house with integrated garage. And we've got written submissions received and an objector, Michelle and Adrian Moretta from number 5. Michelle and Adrian, are you there?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so you've got 3 minutes and you can start now.
Okay. All right. Well, we welcome the opportunity to address you this afternoon. And in particular, we welcome condition 2 of the recommendation, which requires a reduction in the size of the rear terrace through an additional setback from the rear. While this condition goes somewhat to protecting our privacy, it still allows for sight lines towards our master bedroom and associated balcony and internal bedroom area as well. It also looks directly through our northern side void into our bedroom. And this just doesn't enable us to feel comfortable in our own home, knowing that there's direct viewing into our bedroom spaces. Our submission to the DA included a photograph on page 4, which demonstrated the relationship between the existing balcony and our master bedroom and the associated balcony. Whilst there is an existing balcony already on the subject site at this level, this is actually off a bedroom, and therefore it's not used as primary private open space. The terrace of concern proposed is to be directly accessible from the proposed living area, and therefore will be highly utilised and also as an entertainment area. We therefore request that fixed non-operable privacy screening be provided along the barbecue structure and to the end of the balcony, and this is to ensure that the visual privacy is protected and those direct sight lines are not available towards our first floor level and bedrooms. The report states that the balcony as condition will have no unreasonable amenity impacts, as the intensification of the use will be mitigated by increased setback from the rear boundary and by views towards the neighbours being obscured by privacy screening and the green roof. Now, screening is provided in the form of an external shutter along the northern boundary, which looks towards number 1 Miramar. However, on our side, on the southern side, there's no screening indication at all, and therefore we believe the intensification of the use has not been adequately mitigated, as stated in the report. We therefore request that these fixed non-operable privacy screenings be included in condition 2 general modifications. Now, with an area of 25 square metres on that first floor balcony, it is still above the maximum area of 10 square metres. And to ensure compliance with Part C1.5 E and F of the DCP, and to mitigate that intensification of use through the provision of a living area at the first floor, permanent screening needs to be provided along that whole southern side barbecue area and towards the end of the balcony. The initial proposed terrace was a very large non-compliant terrace in the first place. I also wanted to address just first floor privacy screening in general. We raised our concern about privacy on various occasions.
Sorry, Michelle, can I just jump in? Your time is up. Do you have something just quickly to just wrap up?
It's just to wrap up. Or I can talk on behalf of Adrian in his next speaking?
Yes, let's go to Adrian and then he
Sure.
can maybe address that point.
Yeah, no problem. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I will talk on
Hand
behalf
over
of
to Adrian and we'll start the clock. Adrian,
Yes, hi there.
thank you.
So first for privacy screening, we raised our concern about privacy on various occasions and requested fixed screening to the southern side of the property on the ground level and first floor. The architect confirmed in writing that they amended the ground level operable screens to fixed privacy screens, but have not introduced any fixed privacy screening to the first floor windows. And as a matter of fact, there are no screens at all on the first floor. We asked the architect to visit our property to look at the impact of overlooking and direct sightlines in our bedroom space, as we didn't agree with the overlooking diagram they provided. However, they were unavailable to visit our property and stop returning our phone calls. Would like our privacy concern taken into consideration for the first floor on the southern side also. So that's us finishing off there.
Sorry, I keep taking my mic. Thank you very much. There's no question
Okay.
for you, Michelle and Adrian. Thank you. I
Thank
see
you.
we've got Ada Lee there, who is here on behalf of the owner. You're the architect. Ada, if you could address some of those issues raised by the objectors from the neighbours at 5 Miramar, that would be helpful. If you could deal with that either in your submission or at the end of the submission. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members of the panel. I'm Ada Ali from Rock Mills Architect, and I'm speaking on behalf of the applicant in support of the application. In regards to the Adrian's comment, we have provided view analysis as our DA 50 and 51, and you can see from the cells facade treatment, we have introduced a translucent glass where necessary, and the wall has been carefully considered and designed to rotate the view towards the non-trafficable area to number 5's balcony. And we further provide a view analysis to council, and which can also be seen from the report, page 116, that there's no generally the new design proposed balcony is similar to the existing balcony, and it will not result in substantial additional overlooking issue, as it's generally a setback further from the rear and side boundaries than the existing balcony, as it features privacy screen to its northern boundary. So we believe the additional louver or privacy screen is not necessary, given the consideration of that our design has addressed that issue. And I think I would like to we would like to appreciate the recommendation for approval and accompanying conditions, and we do not wish to challenge any of the recommended conditions of the consent.
Thank you. I'll just see if the panel have any questions for you, Ada. Gabrielle? Oh, Heather.
Could I just, do you have the drawings in front of you?
Yeah, sure, I can share.
I was looking on the elevations, which are drawings, north and south elevation. We have DA 20 revision C.
So give me 1 sec. Yeah.
So could you just tell me, you referred to that, you said that you have translucent windows on the first floor, was my understanding. Is that what the notation on this drawing shows? Because the GL01 is clear glazing. Or are you proposing that those windows are translucent?
Let me see the DA 50 and 51. That shows all the window analysis and.
Okay, he wants to drop it, not place.
You see my screen? That's the translucent glass showing on section 1 and 2. So that's where we're facing their staircase and the louver area.
So I'm looking on the elevation drawings.
Yeah.
DA20 revision C. Is that right?
Yeah, 1 second. I'll just bring up the DA20. Yeah.
So the windows, there's 3 windows, and then you have the terrace. So are they the ones that you're saying are all translucent?
Yeah, those windows, those windows will be translucent.
It's just that the code on when you go to the materials and finishes, GL01 is clear glazing. Material DA60.
Okay. Yeah, I think we annotated on the floor plan, well, not an elevation, we'll add it back in.
So
and we'll include a translucent glass material in the material.
So that's what your intention is, that those 3 windows would be translucent in consideration of the objector. Is that how it's supposed to read?
And this window actually in the middle level, that doesn't really impact have a view impact.
And so what sort of glazing has that one got?
That'd be clear.
That's clear.
Yeah, that'll be clear, yeah.
The voice you're hearing is Rob Mills. Thank you for, could I request permission to speak at some point, please?
We'll just, thank you, Rob. Can we just clear up these questions first with Ada?
Okay, great. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's my question. Thank you. I mean, Gabrielle may have other.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gabrielle.
Gabrielle, thank you.
I just wanted to gain an understanding a little bit more, just looking at the levels that are actually on DA13. The outdoor living space is at RL 44.16. The window in question that in the neighbouring property to their bedroom, what RL is that window at? The floor height and the head height, please. Which one is it in the plan? DA13.
DA13, yeah.
So I'm looking at 5 Miramar Avenue, and I notice there are a number of windows that are notated. There's one which is appears to be at a head height of 43.19 and a sill height of 42.25. Is that the window that we are discussing, that you're saying that you don't think there'll be a privacy impact?
No, that will be the window at lower level.
So
not on this top level.
Okay, so and your position is that the position of somebody at the barbecue would be such that they wouldn't be able to look down into that window?
No, the barbecue area, we don't have any overlooking issue, as you can see from our 3D visualized. It only can see the non-tractable area, as I can show you from the cursor. It doesn't see any of the house area.
We're not sharing screen with you, so we can't see what you're pointing at.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not sharing.
So we're on the drawing DA13C, and the barbecue area that's sitting there behind the garden is there. The question is, if you're standing at that barbecue, will you be able to look down onto the window at number 5 Miramar Avenue?
No, it won't have any overlooking issue from there.
You can.
Just if you could just mute yourself, please, Michelle. Thank you.
Because just looking at the floor level, 44.16, and if we've got a head height on that window at 43.19, basically there's only a metre from the level of the floor. I would have thought there would be potential for downward viewing. Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other questions that Jeffrey for Ada?
I just want to sort of clarify the answers to your earlier questions. The windows that were on DA20 review C, GLO1, there's 3 windows there, and then GLO2. As I understand it, what you're saying is GLO2 will be the type of frosted window that you can't see through, but GLO1 will still be clear. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because GLO2, on the mid level, where there's no view impact, the glass will be clear. But on the upper level, when there is a potential privacy impact, we have the frosted glass.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you're saying. GLO1 is clear. Is that correct?
So the three windows that we discussed before, that you've got GLO1, which is the clear glass, you're saying that out of those 3 windows, 2 of them, if I've heard you correctly, will be frosted, GLO1, is that correct? GLO2. 2 of them will be GLO2. So which one of those 3 will be GLO1?
Thanks.
On the top level.
Yeah, on the top level.
Yeah.
So you've got, on the top level, you've got the privacy screen at the back, and then you've got 1 window, and then there's the 2 after that. So which 2 will be GLO2?
The 2 close to the front setback, those 2 will be frosted.
Right. So the rear one, which is near the fixed shutter privacy screen, will remain a clear glazing, GLO1.
Let me double check from the view.
That's what you're saying that plan should read.
Let me confirm the third one will be frosted or.
Yeah. So the 2 windows closest to Miramar Avenue will be GLO2, which is obscure, and the third one behind, furthest away, the one that's closest to Thompson Street, will be GLO1, which is clear glazing. We're on plan DA20C.
Yeah, I understand. Let me see.
Sorry, let me just try and this is so hard to work, this silly thing from overseas.
Well, I think correction. I think the mid window will be clear glass as well, because the wall is rotated if you see the floor plan of the top level, and it's not going to result in any overlooking issues.
Sorry, so you're saying that the 3 of them will be obscured glass?
Yes.
So the 3 windows on that first level will be obscure glass. So the 3 should be GLO2.
Yeah.
Right. And that's an error in that plan.
And there's also fixed shutter on the bedroom of the mid level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Those 3 windows are all GLO2 obscured glass.
Yes.
Okay, we're clear. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chair.
Now we've got Rob Mills. Did you want to address? You said you wanted to speak. Is that correct, Rob?
Yes, please. There? Thank you. I just had to take it from you. Thank you, everyone, for the opportunity to speak and for the officer's support of the application. I just want to add one last point, and that is that we take great care to openly consult and meet with our neighbours, and to that end we went and met with Adrian and his wife one night at their house and had a really strong open discussion about the application. Adrian's correct that we didn't return after that event, but the reason we didn't is we have a 3D survey prepared by CMS Surveying, which is absolutely accurate, and our plans are based on that survey, and that survey captured all of the existing conditions on number 5. So we know locations, the pool locations, the building location. We know everything, and we can work out from that whether or not there's any overlooking of our neighbours' private open space or bedroom windows. And we take great care to try and avoid overlooking because it's such a sensitive issue. And we say to our clients that we are the custodian of their relationship with their neighbours, and we see it as our responsibility to hand the relationship back with the neighbours after we've gone through this process in good shape, because they're going to live side by side with one another. Wouldn't it be nice if they felt that they were heard and listened to, and we responded to their concerns? And Adrian and I have got to know each other over the journey, and we got on really well. We haven't managed to satisfy Adrian. I acknowledge that, Adrian. Sorry for that. But both of us tried. And I just wanted to make that point. I felt that was important. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. The question, I suppose, we're still waiting to hear from you or later on, is the visual from the barbecue area on the proposed first floor, looking down into that window. I don't think we've got a clear answer on that. If you've got that survey, that U-Butte survey system, are you able to say whether that's going to be a visual impact on the owners at number 3?
Ada is, because she worked out all the science regarding that too. So Ada can accurately describe the situation to you, and so I'll hand it over to Ada.
Yeah, am I able to speak, chairs and members?
I'm sorry, are you sharing your screen?
Yeah,
could you just take that down? We don't actually able to share the screen because we don't know what you're putting up. So if you could just stop sharing your screen, and we've all got the plans in front of us. So if you could just take us to the plan that you're referring to. The one that we're probably looking at the moment is DA13C. You're still sharing your screen.
Is it stopped now?
Could you stop sharing your screen?
Yeah. Is it stopped?
No, it hasn't. We've still got.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Just trying to.
Thank you. No, that's fine. Thanks, Ada. So the plan we've all got in front of us is DA13C. We're looking at the barbecue area.
Yeah.
And the concern is, if I understood correctly, is the visual of looking down into the number 3's window that's directly opposite it.
Okay. First of all, I think the window is not. Let me see the direction. It's not north facing. It's facing at the east from the survey. And on the north of number 5, there's only a non-trafficable area as a roof area. So we can see the non-trafficable area, but we're not able to see further into their rooms. And if there's any impact, it will be the same as the existing balcony. As you can see from this drawing, the blue dotted line indicate the existing balcony, and our balcony will be set further back from the existing.
I don't think there's agreement by the panel on that. I think there's still a concern. I mean, it may be we'll have to look at putting a condition in, but we're just trying to work with you to see how could that be rectified when there looks like there is a clear visual from that barbecue area into number 5. Sorry, I kept saying number 3 before. Number 5 into that window.
Can I ask? We can provide further perspectives and 3D view analysis to panel later today, and also we have the condition of shrink the terrace area and putting more green space. By doing that, we believe there's no additional impact. Yeah.
Okay, Gabrielle is going to ask you another question, Ada.
Just to ask it a different way, why don't you want to put a privacy screen up?
because that's the only view slot, given that the number 16 Thomason Street house is right in front of our subject land. And by putting additional extra screen, which is not necessary, our applicant will lose all the views.
Definitely necessary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Jeffrey, you've got.
Ada, if I can take you to DA 50 Review C, that's got the overlooking at section 3. You said earlier that you won't be able to see right into the room. This appears that from the outdoor living, you're looking directly into 5 Miramar. You see that?
So which drawing number you're referring to? DA?
Drawing number 50, Review C. Bottom right-hand corner of that page.
50.
You've got overlooking
the view analysis.
directly. You've got overlooking directly into number 5.
Yeah.
That's a problem, isn't it?
Let me see. Let me find out the drawing first. Sorry. Bear with me. You're talking about the middle section drawing with the
I can only keep saying it's drawing number 50, Review C, bottom right-hand corner.
Bottom right-hand corner, yeah.
Got overlooking straight into number 5.
But from that, you can see it's on the roof. There's no...
Yeah, from the outdoor area, which is the barbecue area we're talking about.
Yeah, but into the non-trapdoor area, and you can see the sections that in number 5.
Yeah, you're looking through it at the same level.
Yeah, but in the existing condition, that's the same balcony area. That's what we're talking about. We don't have additional impact, given that we agree with the condition, further shrink the terrace area. We're not going to increase any privacy issues. Because currently the existing balcony and terrace is exact location. And we actually...
The existing balcony is in a different part to on that page. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, Ada.
But we can provide a comparison again to the panels later with the 3D.
Well, yeah, thank you, Ada. We're going into deliberations straight after this meeting. So I've got Heather, who's got another question for you. Thank you.
Sorry, Ada, just on drawing DA20C, the elevations again.
Yeah, sure.
My reading of it was that there was a privacy screen on that side, but there's not.
That's the other side, number 1 Miramar. Yeah.
So, but you've shown it on this elevation.
As a yeah, sorry, it's a bit of a it's a blurred version showing behind.
If you're strictly showing the elevation, that screen shouldn't be shown there.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. Thank you.
And there's one, Ada, sorry, can you bear with us a little bit more? Gabrielle's got one more question, if you could assist. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Completely different topic. So I'm now looking at DA 11.
Yeah.
And it's your lower ground floor, and you have a bedroom that has no windows available to it. Obviously, we have to deal with what's before us today. I wondered what your thoughts were on bed 3 becoming a study and actually ending up with sliding doors that open to the living area to make it a flexible space that can gain light and air over the living room itself.
Yeah, we have no objection with that. We can do that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for bearing with us on that, Ada. I know it's hard sometimes going through the plans like that, but we appreciate your patience and your assistance. Thank you, speakers, and on this item, and we'll now move on to the next item, number 4, which is DA 257-2023, lot 26 to DP 2397 Belgrave Street, Bronte. We've got submissions received and considered by the panel, and we've got a registered speaker by the applicant, Christine Patience. And sorry? Yeah, I don't think we've got anything on that item to raise with you, Christine, but thank you very much for observing today's meeting. We'll now move on to item 5, which is DA 249-2023, which is 6 Mackenzie Street, Bondi Junction. Again, submissions were received by neighbouring properties, and we've got no speakers on that item. So we'll move on to item number 6, which is DA 234-2023, which is 13 Northcote Street, Rose Bay. We've got a submission received on that item in writing, and we've got Maggie, you're here as well to speak in addition to your written submission. So when you're ready, you can start.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, panel committee members. My name is Maggie Orman and I live at 15 North Street in Rose Bay with my 7-year-old daughter. I am a solicitor and director of my own law firm, Orman Solicitors. I purchased 15 Northcote Street in December of 2021 and I have enjoyed the iconic high-value views for nearly 2 years. When viewing the property, the vendor, Michael Goot, said to me, "You can lie in bed and watch the Harbour Bridge, the Opera House, fireworks and the lights of the city." I purchased the property at a great price purely for the view from the master bedroom, so we could see and enjoy the iconic landmarks of the Opera House, the Harbour Bridge, harbour, fireworks, sunsets, and the city lights, which we currently enjoy. Since becoming aware of this application, I have had to employ a panel of experts, including an architect, a planner, real estate agents, and a senior barrister. During the advertising period, I was working away and quickly assembled 2 objections on the 3rd and the 7th of November. My daughter and I, family and friends, all currently enjoy the iconic views from the lounge room and the master bedroom. We also watch the boats and cruise liners in the harbour and use an app called Ship Finder to identify their names. I love the views from our lounge room, but adore the views from the master bedroom, which are breathtaking. The views from the master bedroom have to be considered from standing, sitting and lying down positions. If the rear portion of the pitch roof is turned around, my standing view will be slightly impacted. My daughter's standing view will be erased by 100%. My sitting view will be eradicated by 50%. My daughter's standing view will be eradicated by 100%. My lying down view will be obliterated by 100%. And my daughter's lying down view will be obliterated by 100%. I have applied the 4-step approach in tenacity in the assessment of my views to the west, and note that there are no other views north and south and east. At my standing height of 172 centimetres in the lounge room, I can just see the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House. My daughter needs to stand on a chair to currently see these views, as she is only 120 centimetres tall. If the height of the front of the house is raised, we'll erase 100% of our view. I have been advised the loss of the high-value iconic views could be up to $1 million. I note council have recommended the level of the front of the house remain, and I thank council for that recommendation. I suggest council have only gone halfway, and my views of the rear property need protection. I note number 11 Northcote Street has a completely flat roof. I note number 13 of Northcote does not have a view, and a pitched roof decreases and obliterates my views, but a flat roof leaves my view intact. If the DA is approved, this is not fair, nor is it just, nor is it equitable. I request that consent DA be deferred until 1, I have my team of experts prepare a full report for council on the impacts this will have, and 2, a view analysis be undertaken from my property, as there has not been one undertaken as yet. I thank you for your time and consideration of my submissions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maggie. Do we have any questions, panel? Heather, we've got a question from Heather for you, Maggie.
Thank you. I understood that the council was conditioning the lowering of the parapet wall, but you're saying that that doesn't satisfy your issue?
No, that satisfies my issue toward the front of the house, but it doesn't satisfy my issue toward the rear of the house. So as I said, there are 2 views to take into account. There's the view from my lounge room, and then there's the view from the master bedroom.
So the view that we have in the report, which I haven't got open in front of me, which room is that from?
Sorry, the view that you have in the report.
The officer's report.
Page. Sorry, there are no pages on it, but you can see 2 square the rectangular windows, and you can see a red line which is in a long shape and that takes into account the city skyline. That's what I believe that council have said, that that the height is not to be raised, and I'm certainly appreciative of that. But it's the next photo where I have an issue, and that is the view from the master bedroom.
So could you tell me what page you're on, Maggie?
I'm sorry, it doesn't actually have any pages. I've
Okay,
received
it's got a
PDF
figure
from the
number?
council and there's no pages on it.
Figure 7?
Figure 7.
You're looking at figure 7.
Yes, figure 7.
Okay, right. Thank you. I've got it. Thank you.
Any other further questions? No, thank you. Thank you, Maggie. We'll now hear from Ted Quinton, the applicant. Ted, are you here?
Thank you, everyone. Yes, thank you very much. I apologise, I can't turn my camera on, if that's okay with everyone.
That's fine. That's fine.
Thank you. So, look, in principle, yes, we accept council's conditioning of the front part of the house and keeping the existing parapet. That's fine. We don't have an issue with that. And of course, we weren't privy to any of the views from number 15, so that's understandable. At the back, we went through a process that, as you can see from the drawings, I think it's pretty clearly highlighted that we had a higher ridge than the existing ridge, and we've reduced it down to the existing ridge height of the current roof. We are reshaping the roof, so the water falls away. That previous roof caused many water issues, and so we turned basically the slope of the roof without changing the ridge height, so it falls to the east. Previously just fell down to the south of the terrible roof junction, as you can see from that photo from number 15. So we haven't sort of accepted that we can't increase the ridge height because we have an impact. Now, from what I can tell from the photo taken by council, if that ridge height that we're proposing stays the same, it doesn't seem to impact any of the iconic views, which are more, if you look at that photo, more to the right-hand side of that photo over the front part of the house, where we're not proposing now, obviously, to raise the parapet. So we accept council's conditions, in imposing that, and the extent that we've lowered the roof back to the original ridge height at the rear.
Thank you. Jeffrey, you had a question?
So just to summarise what you're saying that the plans as amended don't impact number 15's views at all. Is that correct?
I'm saying, yeah, well, the plans as amended are back to what the current condition of the house is now. So we can't now increase the parapet at the front, and we can't raise the ridge at the back from the existing height. So everything that we're doing now is exactly within the existing height of the building as it stands now. So whatever views are currently enjoyed now, my understanding is that by not raising anything further, we won't be impacting the view.
Okay, so you'd be agreeable then to delaying things for a little while so that number 15 can get their experts to confirm what you're saying?
I don't understand why we need to do that. If we're not changing the height of the parapet nor the ridge height, what is being impacted, I guess, is the question.
Well, that's something that we can deliberate, Jeffrey, on the panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We've got another question for you. It's Gabrielle now speaking to you, Ted.
So, Ted, I'm looking at drawing A303, which is your cross-section lower.
So drawing your 8?
A303.
Oh, you're looking at the architecturals, yeah, sure.
So my understanding is that the issue is around the view that the pitched roof form is creating, which is to the rear of the property. And my understanding looking at this drawing is you've actually turned the roof 90 degrees effectively, so that the view from 15 potentially would have been over a pitch running in the other way, and therefore, whilst you might stay within the height of the roof that's currently there, am I correct in thinking that the change in the orientation of the roof results in greater occupation of the view line because it's actually running parallel to the view rather than perpendicular to the view?
In essence, that's right. However, that when you're actually there, the view is not directly towards the city. It's a bit to the left of the city and more sort of the crest of Bellevue Hill. So that view, I wouldn't consider, under tenacity to be part of the iconic view, because that iconic view is the distant view is effectively at the top of the parapet and ridge line. Below that, there is no iconic view. It's more a district view. So yes, of course, when you change the direction of the roof, there's an impact. That's not disputable. But it's because it's within that ridge line, the way we assessed it was that it was of a district view and not of the iconic view.
I think it comes down to skillful design under tenacity. But I had another question, is in the event that the roof turned at 90 degrees, would that impact the sense of volume within the space that you're trying to create?
Are you still there, Ted? Hello? I think
Sorry, I must have hit, I apologise, I must have hit mute by accident. So I'll just go back. Sorry, per se, not necessarily an issue for council, the fact that water has ingressed into the building, but that's just the history that, and part of the brief that I had. The ceilings were very low, just over
Sorry to interrupt, but I've just
meters
missed.
high.
Sorry, Maggie, can I just ask you to mute yourself whilst we hear from Ted? No, I'm sorry.
I missed quite a bit of that.
We'll just come back, Maggie, if you could just...
I'll go back. That's fine.
Ted? If you could continue, Ted.
So the question was if I believe... Thank you. So it's just answering the question of how a roof change would impact the design. I appreciate that question because it is important. So what I was saying is that the current internal height is just a bit over 2.4 metres. So it's very low. We've also had huge water issues, which, as I said, per se is not council's issue, but it's part of the brief to myself to be able to resolve all those aspects. So simply by turning the roof 90 degrees, we just shed water away from the house, which is obviously very common. And instead of a hip, we end up with a very shallow gable, because now that we've had to keep the existing ridge height, with a gable roof, we end up with a shallower roof form, and so not as much height as we wanted before, but
Am I correct in thinking you'd also end up with a box gutter?
Ted's gone.
Okay, that answered my question anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is he back, Ted? Ted, we've lost you. You back?
I'm sorry, I don't know why it went on mute.
Okay, you're back. Okay, thanks, Ted.
I apologise for that. I apologise. Where did you lose me? I'm sorry, it's very frustrating.
Is there going to be a box gutter?
I was asking, would it also result in having to put in a box gutter?
Exactly, and this is the whole part of the brief to myself was we have to get rid of all the box gutters. They've had endless problems. They haven't been living in the house for well over a year and a bit, and just the simple fact of just shedding water away from the house rather than to the house. So that was my brief, and that's what I was trying to achieve, while obviously, maintaining as much of the existing condition as possible. But as I've said, of course, we can't deny that once you turn the roof 90 degrees, that triangular portion that is now filled in by the roof turning 90 degrees will have some impact. But I would argue the impact is not as significant as it would be looking the other way to the city.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. No further questions. Thank you, Maggie and Ted. We'll go and deliberate, and there will be a decision up on the website in due course. Thank you. Now we'll move on to item number 7, which is DA 233-2023 at 160 Ebley Street, Bondi. There is no speakers on that item, so I now note that all items have been dealt with, and I officially close the meeting, and the panel can consider the applications before us today, and our decisions will be on council's website as soon as possible.